Hello everyone, I'm Max Fitzgerald and this is the first video of a four-part series where we're going to model, texture and bring into Unreal Engine this soda can um, or fizzy drink can, whatever you want to call it. Um, so I have a lot of experience with helping new beginners with these softwares, especially with my job. I work in a college. Um, I'm aware of things that new people find difficult more than other things, such as like hotkeys, UVing, all this sort of stuff. But what we'll do is I'll go through it really slowly. If I use a hotkey, I'll explain what the hotkey is, um, and any questions or anything you want me to cover, just pop it in the comments and I'll make a video on it because I'm looking for things to do. So first, you need to load Maya, obviously, and then when you start off modeling, you're going to need to get a reference image. Okay, you should never really model without a reference image unless you're doing artistic or stylized. But for this cam, we'll get a reference image. So a good thing to type in to get a reference image is blueprint, or you can try orthographic. As long as it comes up with views such as these top views here and views like this, that will be super useful for us modeling. So what you want to do is you want to save these pictures. So I'll use this one and this one so that you can follow along. SodaCam blueprint, and then we'll bring these into Maya and I'll show you how to set them up. So if I just save this quick, saving it as Coke or just can side view. Okay, save. And this one, save image as can top view. Save. Okay, so you want to go back into Maya, and before we do anything, I'm going to make sure that your Maya looks similar to mine. I'm using Maya 2018. It shouldn't really matter all through to 2020. It's pretty much the same if you're using 18, 19, 20. It shouldn't matter. So go to Maya Classic in the top in the workspaces, and if you don't see all of the panels that I have up here, other than these side ones, so this one is interchangeable, and then so we'll just leave it on modeling toolkit for now. Go if you're missing some of these, go Windows, UI elements, show all UI elements, and it should pop up with anything you're missing. If you're missing the outliner, just go Windows, outliner, like that, and you'll have it. It may come up like this, and you can just drag it over there onto the side like this. A little bit fiddly. There you go. So to bring in these images that we're going to model from, we're going to need to go into create, and which is in the top left here, and then a free image plane. Okay, so we'll bring this in and you'll see it's completely empty. So in order to add the Coke can to this, you want to go to the attribute editor on the right here, or you can press Control A and it should come up with this. So these are the attributes of the free image plane. So we'll click this little file here, and then just browse. It should pop up with a window, and just browse your computer and find your pictures. So firstly, the side view. So if you just click on the side view and press open, and you should have it in here. So if you go to the image plane, let's just quickly rename this. I'm going to double click to rename and just call it side view. Okay, and then let's go create free image plane again, File, and then Top View. So firstly, we're going to want to make sure these are the correct scale with each other, which will be very easy. So I'm pressing W to bring up the move tools, and all I'm going to do is scale this down so that the sizes line up. So it's going to be a little bit fiddly. Going to press E to go to rotate, and then hold J as I rotate so it snaps. Snap it 90 degrees like that. And then all I need to do is make sure that the middle point of this lines up with the middle point of the can here. Okay, we don't have to be perfect. Oh, there we go. That's about right. So we can leave this one for now, just move it down out of the way, because firstly we're going to focus on the side here. So if we bring these over here, what is a useful tool to use is pressing space on your keyboard. So if you press space, it should come up with all your views. So top view, one side view, front view, I believe, yep, front, and then your perspective. So this is going to be super useful as we'll be able to look up all of the references at once. So if I just bring a cylinder in, just by pressing this, see the cylinder appears, we see in our top view, see everywhere. So firstly, I'm doing this as a game artist would, okay? I'm not going to be making it super high resolution. You can. I'm just going to have it average, not low poly, not high poly, just keeping it simple. So to change the amount of edges and subdivisions you have in the cylinder, you would go here in the attributes editor to poly cylinder 1. So if you don't have that up, it's Control A again. Should get it up. So polycylinder 1, here is where you can change the subdivisions. As you can see, this would be super high poly, this would be super low poly. We'll leave it at 20. So firstly, I'm just using this top left view here, and I'm going to just scale this, moving it and scaling it so that it covers the size of the reference. So we get hit to this point here, and already you can see we have an issue, because if I wanted to create these parts here, I can't see this on the reference. So to make this easier to see, you just go shading and then X-ray, and then it puts the mesh with an X-ray so you can see the image plane below it. So we have this lined up. Now we're going to look in this view. I'm going to press R to scale it all the way up to about here, about there, should be fine. Now what we're going to want to do here is there is a clear change in the width of the bottle here. So I'm going to look in my perspective view, and I'm going to hold right click and go to face. And if I select all of these faces, one way is by holding tab and dragging, then I can extrude up. So extrude is either Control E or this button here. If you're ever lost, you can press help, find menu, and this will pop up, and you can type in extrude. Wait a second. There you go. Edit mesh, extrude. That's another way of getting to it. So edit mesh, and then we'll just find extrude. There. So I'm going to press this button, and what this has done is this has made new faces on top, which is connected, so it's extruding out from the faces. So if I use this arrow or press W and get up the move tool, you'll see it's rising up, creating a new edge. So we're going to do this and scale it in a little bit, and you see we're already getting a bit more shape to it. So now I'm going to do the same thing. The faces are still selected. Control E or this extrude button, and I'm going to extrude up again. There you go, it's about there. So don't worry about the sharp edges, we'll sort that out later. So now I'm going to do the same to the bottom. Control E. I still have these ones selected. Click off it first, go back, hold tab. There we go. Control E. So this is perfect. So as you saw earlier, I pressed Control E to extrude when I didn't realize I had the top faces, all these selected, as well as all of these selected. Then I made a common mistake, everyone makes it, and I forgot about it as it wasn't visible. Maya doesn't make it visible, and I've moved on, and what has been left behind are these extra faces. So if I do this here to show you, I've deselected everything, nothing selected, but there is a face here. So in order to get rid of these when this happens, a way to see them is by going to vertex face. So if I go to vertex face, you'll see these tiny little faces here, and what we can just do pretty much is if we just select everything, I'm holding Control now and double clicking, Control double click, gonna hold tab here. So I'm deselecting all the faces that I want to keep. Control double click, Control double click. There we go. So nothing here is selected, but there still is, as there was the double faces. And if I just press delete, they're gone. So if I go vertex face, no more of the little lines, the double faces. So let's carry on. So I'm just trying to follow the curve of the can here. Do this one, Control E, move down, we'll do it about there. Okay, so now we've got, if I press spacebar to go back into just one of these views, now we've got a very basic can. So what I'm going to do now is just add some bevels to it to soften out the edges so it looks the same as this. So if we grab these edges, pressing space and going into the side view, I'm going to go to shading and X-ray again so that we can see. I'm just going to maybe reposition that a little bit and press Control B, or it is this button here. Control B for bevel, and as you can see that's turned this one edge into two edges. Now we can also add more segments, so we'll see here segments, so if I change that to 2, it's already becoming a lot smoother of a corner, as you can see. 1, 2, 3. So if we do this most places, so Control B to bevel this one a bit. Oh. I think I caused a problem earlier with my double faces if I didn't get rid of them. I did. Vertices. There we go. So another issue because of my mistake earlier, which is an easy fix. You'll notice I can't bevel this edge. If I double click this, press bevel, It's not working. It's the same reason because of the um, double faces I caused earlier that I deleted. Now you can see that these vertexes aren't connected. It's really easy to fix this. We're just going to select all these vertices in this rough area. I'm holding Shift and right clicking, and there's a merge vertices. This will just merge everything that's close to each other. So merge vertices, going to go to this little box. It's got this merge threshold. We'll just put it about there. Press merge. A little bit too close. Merge vertices. Merge vertices. We'll just turn it a little bit down. And there we go. Problem's gone. So now if we double click on this, press bevel, it'll work again. So I'm pressing space to go back out. Going to add some segments to this. Bring the fraction down a little bit. We'll do the same on the bottom. Bevel it. Beveling. Bevel this. There we go. So now it's looking like this, a lot more realistic. One thing about this Coke can is there is a lip around the top. It's very small, but it'll be worth modelling into it. So I'm just going to do an extrude again. I'm going to select faces, click one, shift double click the one next to it, so it wraps all the way around, and just extrude this out a little bit. So I'll just drag the arrow. There we go. And we've got this small lip. Now I'm going to press B to bevel, Control B, or this button. And there we go. We've got a nice beveled edge to that. So if we have a look, you see, it's looking more like a Coke can. Now, the top of the Coke can is why we wanted this reference. So if we go back to the top view, it's a little bit tricky to see now because of the edges underneath, so that's why we're going to use multiple views at the same time. So I'm going to actually, what we can do is if we select just the area we want to work on, so I'll just select these faces here, and I'm going to press Shift to select both of the references as well, and then Control 1. So what this does is it isolates and only shows what you have selected. If you want to go back, just press Control 1 again. So we'll just work on this top part. So firstly, I'm going to grab this edge here, right on the edge, and I'm going to make sure that in the reference it is where it should be. It looks like it, just on the start of the lip. So we're going to extrude down from here, maybe pull it in a little bit, and then we're going to grab these faces and extrude down. Pull it in a little bit. Like this. So there we go, we have the top of the can. Now, cans do have quite a harsh edge at the top, so we'll do a bevel, but only a very small one. So grab the edge, press B, bring this way down, press this to make it easier to control, way down to like that. There we go. I'm going to press Control 1 to bring back most of the can, and there we have your can. So the last bit we need to model, as the other parts will be done in textures, is the underneath and the top part here. So for the underneath, super simple. It probably won't be seen if you're making a game, as the can will be on the ground. I'm just going to do a extrude in and pull it up a little bit, and then bevel. There we go. See, that probably won't ever be seen as if you're making a game, it'll just be like this with the can sitting down. So most of the time you'd end up deleting those faces anyway. So now let's change our focus to this part, this ring part. This is a bit of a trickier shape, but it's not too bad. So there's a million different ways you can approach this. I think the easiest and most simple way is doing this similar thing we've been doing and just taking a cube or a cylinder and extruding out from it. So I'm just going to take this cylinder. Actually, let's use a cube or a plane. Let's use the plane. So what I'm going to do here now is only use the topology that we need. So we're going to cut out a ton of this. So if we, in the attributes, if we take our subdivisions way down here and here, and then make it the rough shape, so it's just a square over the top. Then I'm just going to add edges where we need them. So I'm using this multi-cut tool here. You can also get it by holding Shift and right-clicking if you're not in the multi-cut tool, that is. Let's go to edges. Oh, need to find my plane. There we go. Just bring the plane to the top. So Shift, right click, multi-cut tool. There we go. Now I'm going to add vertices where they need to support these curves here and here. So I'm going to hold Control and we'll just click a couple of times along here. There we go. That should be enough. So as we're not doing this high poly. So if we go to hold right click and go to vertex mode, and then we'll just drag these and Shift drag these, and press W, bring these down. I'm going to deselect these two. Yeah. Pull this down. Deselect these two. Pull this down. There we go. I'll do the same thing here. We'll deselect this one and this one. Deselect this one and this one. And now we deselect these. There we go. I just need one more vertex for the top there. There we go. Now we've got the basic shape, and what we need to do is cut out these insides bits. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add some vertex cuts, some multi-cuts, sorry. Here, 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 maybe there. Now I'm going to select these, and we just want to line them up. So I'm going to press R to scale them into a straight line just by closing this. I do it on these as well. Scale them into a straight line. Just be a little bit less. There we go. Edge. A little bit less. So we can see here we can use these vertexes to gain the shape roughly of what we need it. So just going to do this one here, just even them out a little bit. This one here. I can show you a good tool for this in 1 second. So if we only do half of it, just keeping everything a little bit neater. So this half is done. What I'm going to actually do is go to face, delete this half, select this half, and use mirror, this tool here. And what this will do is we'll just make sure that everything is nice and symmetrical. So we pull this in. There we go. Now I'm just going to delete these faces. Delete. Go back to this view. Got a rogue face there. Control 1. Have a problem here, which is fine. Just double check there wasn't any problems with extruding. No. And then I'm going to select everything. Control E to extrude up. There we go. We've got the top of our can. So I'm going to just give it some bevels, as nothing is perfect right angle. There we go. Control B. And there we go. So if we go back, there's the lid to our can. So I'm just going to move this down. And the rest will be done in texturing. So next video we will go through the UV unwrapping, and from then on we'll go texturing and then into Unreal Engine. So this is just a quick beginner's modelling of the can, and I'll catch you next video.